So I like games that have some kind of creation aspect to them, whether it be like create your own levels or modes or, whatever. I'm an artist, so I like to just create things in general. But I very much enjoy it when a game has something that lets me scratch that itch. So I have a handful of games that I want to talk about. So let's just get into it. The first game is Mario Paint. I honestly haven't played it for years. And this is probably like the most, I don't know, basic example of this video. One of the main modes is literally just like a Microsoft Paint. One of the other modes that seem to be much more popular in this game is the music making program. You can go on YouTube and just see like tons of videos of songs people made using Mario Paint. And the thing is, the notes are these very specific sounds. So you'll see like people create songs from other games using Mario Paint, and it sounds just like them, but it's got this weird like Super Nintendo feel to it. I don't know how to explain it, but overall it's a very simple game. Not a lot really to it, considering it did come out in the 90s on a Super Nintendo. It was a good starting point for like a game creation genre. Just basically Microsoft Paint on the Super Nintendo, throw in a couple modes, boom, done. So a second game, I need to look at the camera. Second game, I don't really need to go into it. Everybody knows what it is at this point because it's Minecraft. Minecraft is just absurd. Like when you look at it, it doesn't seem like much on the surface, at least to people that haven't played it. But the shit I've seen people making those in Minecraft is absurd. Like it can be so in depth. Like it's just crazy. Like the thing about Minecraft is they just keep adding more to it. Like this game came out like 2009 or 10-ish originally. And if you play like the original version versus the current version, it feels like an almost completely different game. And one of the things about Minecraft is it's got like almost like two aspects to it. There's the creation aspect where you can just build whatever you want. And then there's the like play the game aspect where it's kind of like a, adventure survival game. Really there is no like end goal to it. It's just do what you want. And I think that's part of why it's so popular. Mario Maker, sorry for the glare. The fact that it took so long to get a Mario game where you can just make your own Mario levels is crazy. Like, and to have this come out on the Wii U, mainly because of that gamepad, it made it work so well. It's like they took, well, creation can get very complicated depending on the game, but they literally made this like super simple to use. And with the touchscreen on the Wii U, you just select what you want, click, select, click. You can build a level within like minutes if you want. May not be very good, but that's besides the point. But, get to Mario Maker 2 and they added so much more. Its biggest draw is that it doesn't, the Switch has a touchscreen on it, but like if you want to play it on the TV, you have to use the controllers and it makes it much more complicated. But still, like some of the stuff that people have made is crazy. Like, because when you think make your own Mario levels, it's like you're thinking back like, the old school Marios with like the Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3 and Mario World. It's like they're very like, I don't want to say simple, but they're designed to be levels. But some of the things people have made with Mario Maker, it's like they thought outside of the box. They've done things that make it almost feel like a completely different game, despite the fact you are playing classic Mario games. I wish Nintendo would make more Maker games. I really wish at this point, I don't understand why they haven't made like a Legend of Zelda Maker. Like imagine taking like the original Zelda and Link to the Past, or like Link Between Worlds on 3DS, and just making your own levels using those. I mean, when are they going to make another top-down Zelda game? Or they could even use like the Link's Awakening remake on Switch. I would love a game like that where you can make your own Zelda dungeons, and it wouldn't take away from the new Zelda games like, you know, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, because those are so like big and over the top, whereas the older ones are basic. So I kind of went on a rant there, but it would be so simple to do, and you could do so many crazy things, just like the Mario Maker games. But I went off on a tangent. Sorry. Next game. So this game, WarioWare Do It Yourself. This is probably the weakest WarioWare game. It's more focused on creating your own mini games. They're not that in depth. They're very, very basic, at least from what I've seen. And it seems a little overly complicated. I feel they could have streamlined it and like made it just simpler, because you essentially have to draw a picture and then select what you want it to do or where you want it to go, and then select the direction you want it to go and what you want to trigger. Like, it's much more complicated than it needed to be, at least for me. Like, I tried learning the tutorials, but that's one of the other problems, is the tutorials are so like long and drawn out that I just didn't even want to take the effort to learn how to play them. I mean, I've seen some decent games on YouTube that have been made, but they're just not that like exciting. WarioWare is a very weird game just in general, like the humor, and I feel that the humor was lost when they tried to make your own game. But I don't know. It's probably like my least favorite game that I'm talking about right now. But I'm gonna move on. LittleBigPlanet. All three of them are great. I mean, if you've seen some of the levels people have made, this is a 2D platform game, if you're not familiar with it. People have made games that aren't even 2D platformers. It's LittleBigPlanet is much more complicated to learn, but it's one of those things. It's hard to learn, and I guess it's hard to master too. There's a lot involved, and I didn't really want to put forth the effort to learn how to make them. You know, Mario Maker, like I said before, it was a very simple game to learn how to make. You just click, touch. This, you have to like, going back to what I said with WarioWare, you have to like select an object and teach it, or like program things to make it do, and like you gotta make it move or make it do something. It got very in depth, and I feel that takes away, like it makes it less accessible because it's harder to learn. That's what I was trying to say. I'm all over the place. The levels are crazy. Like, in the fact, you know, going back to Mario Maker, there are millions of levels on both of those games, both Mario Maker and LittleBigPlanet. It's like a never-ending supply of levels. You know, it's a game that has unlimited potential. Like, well, all these games have that, but I'm gonna talk about these next two games together. But LittleBigPlanet Karting and Mod Nation Racers. Mod Nation Racers came out first, and LittleBigPlanet came out LittleBigPlanet Karting came out 2 years later. They're literally like they're kart racers, and you make your own levels, and you can also like customize your characters because, you know, why not? But it is very simple to make tracks. You just have these like thing you select, and you essentially just like drive it around a flat canvas, and then when you have to essentially connect the end point to the start point. So you can just like draw a circle, and once you get to where you started, it'll automatically generate the track, and then you can like raise and lower the terrain or like curve the track, and you can put like items wherever you want. And you know, if they made it now, they could probably do way more. I mean, just after seeing what Mario Kart 8 can do with like the anti-gravity and underwater and stuff. But that, you know, for Mod Nation Racers, the game was very like floaty, and that was kind of a turnoff for me. Like, it didn't feel like super tight to control. With Little Big Planet karting, I feel like they took Mod Nation Racers, polished it up, and slapped Little Big Planet on there. It's fairly like the same basic thing, but I feel it was better done. And it's, you know, a franchise that's more popular and well known rather than, you know, generic kart racer. Because I mean, this is fun to an extent, but when you look at the characters, they seem very like, I don't know, generic. They feel like a fucking like mobile game characters. You know, now that I think about it, this whole game does kind of feel like a mobile game in a way. It had potential, but I feel they just needed to tighten it up a little bit. But still, you know, going back to like Little Big Planet, Mario Maker, there's like an infinite, well, not infinite, but an almost seemingly endless amount of levels you can play. And it adds so much replayability to it. And so the last game / games that I want to talk about wasn't originally a creation game, and that would be the Halo games. You know, specifically all the Halo 3 onwards with Forge mode. You know, when Forge mode was originally added to Halo 3, or it was added in Halo 3, and it was very basic. It was just, they give you the option to put weapons wherever and put spawn points wherever, and, you know, add like objects and vehicles wherever, you know, nothing crazy. It was more like customized maps rather than make your own maps. But then they added DLC maps called Foundry and Sandbox, where they literally gave you like an almost empty canvas, and they gave you like building blocks so you can make whatever you wanted. And it really took off. So Halo Reach comes out, they make a straight up like Forge world where they just went over the top, added new features, gave you a shit ton of objects to use, and some of the maps on there were crazy. And then 343 takes over, and with Halo 4 was used, it had a lot of the same aspects of Halo Reach. So they more or less took Forge from Halo Reach and made it better in Halo 4, and they added more features and stuff to make it even easier. Fast forward to Halo 5, that's where it started to get crazy with Forge, because they started adding like make your own game modes. You can fucking just create like vehicles by attaching objects and stuff onto them. Like, some of the maps in there almost look like legitimate maps. And then, you know, Halo Infinite once again got like another overhaul like Halo 5 did. And the maps look developer made, and they've added like the ability to make your own game modes. You can put AI in the maps. The amount of creativity in the Halo games now is absurd. Like, 343 may not have done the best job with Halo games, but the one thing they have gotten consistently right was Forge mode. It just keeps getting bigger and better. I can't wait to see where they go in the future with Forge mode, because you can literally like make campaign levels in Halo Reach. You can literally make campaign type levels in Halo Infinite's Forge because of how big and expansive it is, and the ability to put AI in there now, so you can actually fight enemies. So yeah, I just wanted to make a video, you know, like not ranting, but talking about creation stuff in games that I like. Even though I kind of had a rant there at one point about Zelda. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.